lawn maintenance contract to order. We'll start it up here. So we'll handle this probably quite similar to the cemetery. We'll write up the meat of the agreement. Justin will write up the actual contract when we're done. And then when we're all said and done, we'll look at it again.
Do we have a copy of that 3-year contract that was with
No.
Cinex? So there's no hard copy of nothing from Cinex?
Well, it was just the same bid that we all had. Nobody ever gave us a 3-year contract, even though this one that we asked for, or I asked for, was for 3 years, but none of them were for 3 years.
I was told that the Cinex price was good for 3 years.
I think that was, I think that.
That's why they continued cutting grass April, May, was because it was a 3-year
It
contract.
was a 1 year, it was
It
a
was
1 year.
1 year contract.
Because
We've never
there had
a
not
3-year
been
contract.
one, and so we had requested a proposal in '22, and it didn't come in until May.
I'm just asking questions
So
that.
that's the way that I understood it.
Yeah, we've never had a 3-year contract, even the past group, there was, nobody turned in a 3-year contract.
Well,
So,
we need guidelines though to know if we're gonna do a contract, to know what's expected of the lawn care people, because this seems to be ever evolving. You know, at one point, we're getting a price for lawn cutting, but then there's another guy that's gonna cut the ditch, and weed whacking, and then another, just a minute, another guy's going to do ball diamonds. So we kinda have this.
well, we're in a contract, or we're in an agreement right now that doesn't spray weeds.
Correct. But
So that doesn't take care of the infield of the ball diamonds. The only way now to correct the problem that has been created is probably to spray it, which I had one bid on, and let the weeds die. And then we did try working up one with
Correct.
Cinex, but he agreed that it needed to be sprayed. The weeds were too big. So, and he didn't charge us for that. We just tried it to see if we could work the weeds up rather than spray them. So,
Well,
we're working on the lawn mowing and trimming agreement. I mean, the lawn mowing does include the ball diamonds, and obviously the trimming includes the fences and around the buildings and around the poles. The infield is a whole different story as far as I'm concerned. That doesn't even concern what's going on here.
wasn't that a part of the bid process?
I think it was an
It was a
add-on,
part of the whole
wasn't it?
process.
Something
It was
that
originally,
we
but obviously
corrected.
there's a breach of contract because we didn't keep the weeds down in the infield. So
Wow.
that to me,
The breach of contract was we didn't tell them exactly what they were supposed to do,
it was to
And-
keep the infields clean.
because
But at the cost of it being done weekly, like it almost needs. I mean, if you're not weeding your garden weekly, guess what, they're gonna grow. And are they really being used that often?
Oh, don't get me into that.
I mean, right now, they're not being used that I've seen, anybody playing on them.
But you can't clean an infield in the spring. You gotta keep it clean. Yes, ma'am.
Can we have, okay, I didn't know, I'm not privy to this workshop, I'm okay, public input. These weeds have been a nuisance for years, I mean, this is nothing new, so I just wanted to say, back when my daughter was 21, we were actively out here all the time. We would, at 10, 11, 12 years old she was, we would pull. That has always been an issue here. And, you know, to specialize and keep somebody just on that, there's somebody there right now using it with their little ones. I just want to say, this is not new. They look heavy right now, but there's been heavy years forever. This is not new. And right now, as I go by the playground, I think that that's an issue that needs to be discussed tonight. There should never be the tall weeds. I will gladly come back and pull them, as I do for church in my own area, but that is, to me, something that better be on the docket here tonight too, because that looks horrible. I don't know if that's there's just no reason for that. I mean, I think that that should be part of that lawn mowing as well. And I don't know that it is. I've met these guys through pickleball and I'm highly impressed. The more people we engage from our community, we only expand our power here, right? And we get more faces involved. It's just strengthen the numbers. So, and I've met them through pickleball. I'm thrilled with the courts. I think it's great. And everything looks good out here. But I can't believe that I drive by the playground. I'm just surprised to see the high weeds. And I'm guilty when I come down here as well. But I don't know where it fits into whose responsibility.
We called them once, and we got dissed for it. What are you doing? You overworking? How you doing this? You doing that? You wanna see your letter you wrote?
Straighten up, or you're out.
You wanna see the letter you wrote?
I know what the letter, I wrote it.
You've been dissing us ever since we got
So
this
stop.
proposal. You've been dissing us.
Stop! This is a workshop, we're gonna work on the contract for the lawn care. We will put the
I'm
meat
not
together.
signing nothing, cause I asked you for a contract 12 weeks ago, and you said, you don't tell me how to run the township, I won't tell you how to
Never
cut
asked for a
grass.
contract.
And now 12 weeks into this,
Stop!
now you want it for a
Stop!
contract?
Scott,
You're out of order.
I'm pissed.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
relax.
so let's,
Relax.
let's
We have
address
high
this.
emotions right now.
See,
We've been doing a good
Just
job here.
relax.
Somebody hasn't been doing a good job for a long time.
Okay, so,
Relax.
I'm
Are
going to
the-
call this meeting in about 2 minutes, and we'll do it some other day.
I'm
well,
trying to ask a question. My question is, what are the parameters with that playground? Is that what the custodian's doing, or is that what they're supposed to do? And how has that ever been communicated one way or another? Because I was asked that question and I didn't have an answer, because
And
it's
neither
never
did
been
I.
discussed.
But over the years, we had it sprayed.
but you know what, spraying may not always be the very best way. And let me introduce somebody, that's Sue Cooley. And Sue Cooley was very instrumental in the building of dugouts out there, as well as with the fields maintenance and working with Mr. Resler. And recently, Mr. Resler was out there and he says these fields are so far gone, they were gone to start with. They could have used a good clay base, but they didn't quite get the money invested
It's too
in them.
expensive for diving dust. I mean, we went there, right? Martha's drew a lot of our kids. So we have to reinvent the wheel. But I just think that, I just don't know where the
The
weeds fall.
infields were kept clean as long as I've been here.
But they've always been a fight with the weeds. They have every, you know, I'm not saying to the thickness here,
I
but.
can't grow grass on my lawn, but I can grow grass in my driveway. So, I mean, I realize weeds come up in a lot of different places. But these fields, this spring, were in very good shape, and then the 2 leagues, the one girls' league out of Pinconning and the boys that was using the middle field, kept those pretty clean.
So Pony Ball was out here this year.
From Pinconning,
Okay.
the girls. They used the first diamond, they had several games out here. They were using it for practice, and then all of a sudden they started playing their games out here.
And I just
Different
wanted,
schools.
yeah, just clarity. I mean, you know, I'm not at all your meetings to know, but I just heard that there was contract requested, and I couldn't believe that the township would employ somebody without parameters. So then I asked about the playground, where does it fit in? Is it custodial, or is it,
Well, it was in the past part of the lawn care, because we had a lawn care service that sprayed. They sprayed around the poles, around the fences, and we sprayed the blacktop out here to keep the weeds down in the cracks and that, to keep the place clean.
right? And you may giggle at this, but I know we have to be inventive. I know at our church, my family with my 2 children, before our son and went off, we spent 2 hours. I said, hey, buddy, I'll buy you dinner. Look, if you join us, and then we'll pour you off. We went. Thought it would take us a half an hour to 45 minutes because the weeds got away on us. We were there 2.5 hours by the time we were done. So from there on, we did a weeding Wednesday at church, like a common community. You know, something as simple as, you know, have a little, they're just the weeds, I don't want to say showcase, it's just a nice playground. I'm not saying it's just a nice token to our hall. And I was just bummed. I know I saw them last time because they left here done playing pickleball. I could have rolled them. But I just wonder where it lies with who's supposed to do it. Because it's just looked like that for quite a while now. And maybe that you're not here to discuss that, I don't know. When that would be
Well, we're
part
gonna
of the
discuss
contract.
one thing at a time, and the lawn is the first thing. Yes.
Well, okay, this has to do with the playground as well. It's my understanding that Kelly was yelled at for pulling weeds in the playground.
No,
By-
we were informed in a letter that if something like that needs to be done, we need to put in a bid,
Yes.
Which is ludicrous.
which I did it for free.
Did a lot of things for free.
Yeah,
That's
Some
actually
people
where the
like
water
tearing
gets
up
muddy.
people.
Pardon?
I said that's where the water does get muddy, because it's like you almost have to put on a piece of paper, weeded playground, $0, because otherwise, people think that they're being billed for it, but we weren't being billed for it. And it's not that it's a perfect world, it's just that, you know, yeah, we gotta figure out, at our last meeting, we said cut the grass once a week. That's a great middle ground. But, you know, we had to come somewhere, because if we're not gonna cut this grass a minimum of once a week, and even then, it's barely enough right now with all the rain we're getting and supposed to get.
We don't need any more rain.
No, we
We
don't.
don't need rain for a couple weeks.
So, lawn,
The bid did say that, you know, that you guys weren't gonna spray, so I mean, I think we knew that up front. I think we maybe just didn't anticipate how much it was gonna be in, what the expense would be to pull the weeds, you know, all the time versus spraying them. I mean, obviously, if you spray them, they're gonna die and hopefully not come back. They may come back, or if you pull them, they're gonna come back.
Well, at this
And
point,
I mean,
most
and we knew,
weeds are gone to seed,
right,
so you can spray, but that's probably not gonna kill the seed.
they're on the dead cycle.
So I don't, you know, as far as like spraying right now, I really don't know if that would do any good or not.
And as long as it keeps raining, and it has kept raining, even farmers are having
I just
serious
think-
trouble with their weeds.
It's an appearance issue for our township. To me, it's a no-brainer. They're a foot or a foot and a half. And we all like to,
I think one of the things that we didn't anticipate is that $90 an hour for weed whacking was going to take and what we were going to do. So that's one of the things we're here to talk about as far as the contract goes. I mean,
Well,
$575 to mow the lawn, if we do it weekly, is probably okay until it dries up, hopefully in August and September. Although I did mow my lawn till November 15th when I went deer hunting last year. So it's hard to say whether once a week will end. But I think when you're mowing the lawn and there's no grass coming out the side of your lawnmower, you probably shouldn't be mowing that day.
I think maybe you should try mowing it. You should see
Yeah.
how it looks like a hayfield.
Go out there for
up there.
6 hours to cut grass.
see, up here,
And
You're-
tell us they don't need.
you were right. I was here that day, okay, right up here. But the problem is, in the back, that's not so. In the back,
Some of the
it's
fields-
so wet and it's growing so fast because of the lower land and the higher water table back there. On top of the septic tank, normally it works good, but we don't have a septic system anymore. It goes to the sewer, so this doesn't get water like the very back of this. My backyard had to be raked, my front yard was perfect. And it's the same way here, and they're not gonna come here and cut half of the lawn and then come back later unless we're gonna pay them more money, and that wasn't part of the deal. And you know what? That happened once.
No, now when they were cutting every 5 days.
they were
We
not
cut
cutting
it
every
twice.
5 days.
Why?
Get the paperwork out
Why?
and look at the dates.
Oh, my
Twice
God.
it was cut 5 days between.
This meeting is gonna be over in about 2
You know what?
seconds. If you
I'm
guys
about to
don't,
not
we're
care right
here.
now.
Yeah,
I
we
am
really
really-
don't care.
We are here to discuss this.
Yes, we are, but
We
I'm
have
not
heard
gonna
your
give you a
opinion
lie
12
about
weeks
it,
ago.
Sam.
12 weeks ago, Jack.
You guys can run it without me.
Good. Why don't you just keep on walking down the
Shut
road?
up.
No, that's, we gotta,
There.
We've seen this,
You saw
we've
it.
seen
You
it,
saw
we've
Just
seen
hold
it,
on,
we've
hold
seen
on
it.
1 second, hold on one
Just a
second,
minute.
Scott, just a second.
I looked at all the billing.
Yeah, we've got everything.
I've seen the bill, well, oh, I see
You
what
guys
you
have
brought.
that.
Take the date
Well-
and write how many
I
days
think
from
I said
date
it
to
on
date
my-
is between cutting.
Yeah.
Twice.
You know,
Only
sometimes you
twice
cut a
within
day
5
earlier
days.
than necessary
And
because,
Cynics
It's gonna
had cut
rain.
it
It
4
always
days before days,
varies.
right
That's
before
grass
we even
cut.
took over. When we started, as of
I-
June 1st, we didn't even cut till June 9th. But
Yeah,
it was drier then.
the weeds were already in
I-
those
The rain we
infields.
had.
We didn't start till June. Hello, what about
Well,
April
I-
and May?
Okay, have a seat.
I get it.
Sit down for a minute,
Um,
sit down for a minute.
We,
I
So,
guess,
There was, I mean, we were having the same problem, I'm sure you guys were at home too. It was raining so much that you just tried to get out and mow before the rain came, so it wasn't completely out of control after the rain. We've had a very, very rainy season. It has not been the norm. Usually in July, going into August, your grass is dead. I don't know about you, but my grass never died this year. Never died. There was never a dry enough period where the grass
in the
dried.
next 10 days it will not die because it's forecasted every other day rain or every morning rain or every
So
afternoon
the
rain.
next 4 to 5 days.
So, but when you actually, I guess the biggest thing is, sad to say, if we stereotype because 2 occasions it was 5 days, that's wrong. Because you can't stereotype anything. You just can't. Because unless you have the perfect temperatures with the right amount of rain, no matter what, those fields, the ball diamonds, we sat in a budget meeting, going over the bills, and it's like, well, we don't need to do anything with the ball diamonds anymore. It's recorded, it's on Facebook, that we made the comment it wasn't necessary anymore, but yet now we're upset that the diamonds got away. So we have to figure out, are we upset that they got away? Are we upset because we couldn't spray? Because we said this is a year we're not gonna spray, but then, even though we said it's a year we're not gonna spray, spraying took place and we got $1,160 bill that was never authorized nor approved. And then, what do you know, that's not the way to do business, and this has to be,
We asked from day one, Charlie, for clarification. What are our duties here?
and
I didn't
then
even know
we
if
all
we
got
got
this
paid
letter.
once a week, once a
Yeah.
month.
I
relinquished
understand.
us from dragging the fields, and they were drugged that day by cynics. Because we came by the day he hand delivered that on Wednesday, and cynic came and even drugged the field on Wednesday. He's been taking
If
away.
you got an extra copy, give Sue a copy.
He took away
That way she understands
the
what's,
weed whacking of the ditches. He took away the dragging of the fields.
Well, no, he didn't take away the weed whacking of the ditches. It was not made clear in our proposal. You put down as far as weed whacking the ditches and stuff. And it should have been spoken up and said, no, you don't do the ditches. You weed whack here, here, here. Of course, with no spraying of Roundup around the fencing of the ball fields, etc., around the trees. Of course,
there's
you've
a
got
lot of
weeds.
fences back there.
There's a lot more weed whacking that is involved because of the weeds now. The playground, I have a list, which I did not bring, I'm sorry, I am not in my sound mind right now. 13 things I have done here free. Painted picnic table seats, picked up different things, pulled 13 Meyer bags free out of just the big first playground. Twice I've weeded that playground, but when somebody's gonna slap me in the face for something that I've done above and beyond the call of duty, I don't wanna do it now. You want me to pull them weeds? Pay me. My time is worth something now.
How many people has that man tore up in the time he's been here?
I-
And how many has Grego tore up?
Well, our hope was.
I mean, how, Sue,
Listen,
Sue can speak because she was here before us. And people used to come and donate a lot of time here. And now people don't come here at all. Why is that? You know?
And I think
It-
things are seasonal in our lives, right?
We're trying to
But
move
we're-
more
right,
forward,
right.
because
Well,
here's the biggest
stay positive.
piece
Yeah,
that
but
I,
if people keep tearing you up, you ain't coming here.
well, this letter
We're
makes,
about ready to throw up our hands and just
the
say,
letter makes everything reactive.
listen,
Because at this point in time, because of the water that went over the dam, literally, and then a letter gets written, I didn't know of it, Lori didn't know of it, I'm sure the office knew of it, so only the hand and the foot and the head knew, but the other hand and foot had no idea. And you know what? The whole body has to work together. And right now, the whole body's not working together. The head's off on its own tangent. The feet are trying to understand what's happening. And I personally believe we're all trying to understand what's happening. If we were doing a checkup from the neck up. So, the question about the diamonds, and they got dragged, but the problem is, even though the diamonds have been dragged, I don't believe anything else should be done with the diamonds.
Can I ask, because I'm just so confused about the contract, so
we didn't have
I
a
would-
contract. We had a proposal.
Okay,
We asked for a
Well-
contract.
okay,
I'm just asking
hold
a
on,
question.
hold on,
I'm just
stop.
saying, I hear that they asked for one, I don't know on this end what happened, I'm only in between, why, when they were hired, why wouldn't there have been a contract put together? Is that,
So I can explain to you what I've seen, okay? The only contract that we have with anybody that I'm aware of is with the sexton. That the sexton's contract was a result of an RFP that was put out for that position, which is obviously a very specific position. After several months, a finalized contract was available. My understanding is there is no contract with any other contractor here, whether that's the custodian, the previous lawn care people, everything comes in as a proposal. So the understanding would be that when a proposal is accepted, it then becomes the contract. It's not a specific contract, but that would be the understanding.
Yeah.
You said you'll do it for this much money, we have agreed with that bid, so
Right.
that's the
And that
contract.
makes sense, we were spoiled with Bob Bennex for years, and Mrs. Cruikshank forever, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then now, that's since changed in the last, 10 to 20 years, so, right, okay.
But interestingly enough,
Can I ask how he handled like the playground and the ball? Did he do the playground and the ball
I
diamonds,
think
or we don't
Bob
know?
did, he loved it down here, this was
Right.
like.
He did the whole
was just a
park,
mile
from what I
away,
understood.
Half a mile away, he and Nettie lived Mackinac Parish,
Right.
that was,
Yeah.
this was like his, it was like me doing our church when the kids were little, play in the woods, I'm gonna enjoy doing this, so, yeah. And I think that was him, that was his getaway, it was his enjoyment. So, I believe his tractor too, that was part of it, and I'm saying that as that's my memory.
Yeah.
So,
I talked to an attorney, and the first thing he said is how unprofessional
well,
to hire somebody without a contract.
we're trying to clean it up.
just hold on, just hold on.
We're trying to clean it up.
12 weeks later,
No,
Well,
just hold
sadly to say,
on. I know you're frustrated.
the lack of a contract actually results in a contract,
And,
according to the letter of the law, because when you gave a proposal and these 5 trustees accepted it, that made that proposal your contract. Honest to God,
not at law, it is not.
If
Not
you-
in the
It's a
court of
little,
law.
it's a little bit different.
Because
You-
either party can quit either party at any time with a proposal.
Well, technically, a contract usually has that out as well. as long
It's
as
a
you
2-week
serve
out.
on a notice,
even
yes.
Saginaw County government, they'll sign you a contract, and then if they've, no cause, they call it, it's a no-cause contract, it's in every contract, and they literally, with a 2-week letter, literally, just like this, they walk away from their contract. Saginaw County did it with my company. That's just a really weird way of doing business, but everybody's putting that into their contracts now, so the contracts aren't worth the paper, because then it always reverts back to the proposal. But the proposal, sadly to say, says weed whacking, but it doesn't say what. I think every one of us would say, that I personally did not draw a diagram in my head that I thought we had 3 ball diamonds back there, but the 4th one's kind of hid. Okay? So, I mean, when we talk about this whole situation,